This is a story about a tired, frustrated man who entered a coffee shop one day hoping for a quick caffeine fix. But instead, he ended up meeting a stranger who shared a simple story with him that changed his entire life. It goes to show that sometimes the smallest interactions can carry the greatest wisdom. A man in his mid-30s named Peter was feeling stuck. He had just gone through a messy divorce, and his career was in a rut. Day after day, he woke up feeling empty and defeated. One evening, seeking a distraction, Peter went to a local coffee shop near his home. He ordered a cup of coffee, sat down at a table, and started scrolling through social media. As he sipped his coffee, he couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the countless problems swirling in his mind. Just then, a man of about 60 sat down at the table next to him. This man, whose name was Joseph, had a warm smile and an air of tranquility about him that Peter found intriguing. For a while, Peter remained lost in his thoughts, scrolling through pictures of perfect families and ideal vacations on social media. The sight of these seemingly happy lives only intensified his feelings of loneliness and despair. Joseph, noticing Peter's downcast eyes and somber mood, decided to break the silence. He began by complimenting Peter's dog, whom he had brought along. "What a beautiful creature," Joseph said, his eyes twinkling with kindness. "Thank you," Peter replied briefly, still absorbed in his phone. Joseph didn't press further. Instead, he launched into a story about a dog he had known years ago. "I had a golden retriever named Buddy," Joseph began. "He passed away a few years back, but the memory of his loyalty and love still warms my heart." As Joseph spoke, Peter slowly looked up from his phone, intrigued by the old man's captivating storytelling. Joseph continued, "One day while we were on a walk, a squirrel darted across our path, and Buddy, being the curious dog that he was, took off after it. We were in a big park, so I wasn't too worried, but when 15 minutes had passed and Buddy still hadn't returned, I began to panic. I called out his name, but there was no answer. I searched for him everywhere, calling and crying out until my throat was hoarse. But it was as if he had vanished into thin air. Finally, as dusk began to fall, I found him. He was lying under a bush, fast asleep. And when he heard me, he simply looked up, wagged his tail, and trotted back to me. I was angry, yes, but mostly I was relieved and overjoyed to have him back. That's when I realized that every moment with him was precious. I cherished every bark, every lick, every walk we took together from that day forward. I made sure to shower him with even more love and affection because I knew that life with a dog is a gift, one that should be appreciated each and every day." As Joseph finished his tale, a comfortable silence fell between him and Peter. It was a silence filled with understanding and shared emotions. When Peter finally looked up, there were tears in his eyes. Joseph, sensing Peter's emotional state, spoke in a gentle voice. "Sometimes we get so caught up in the little things, in the daily struggles, that we forget to appreciate the beauty of life. It's important to pause, take a deep breath, and remember what truly matters." His words struck a chord within Peter, resonating with the turmoil he had been experiencing. In that moment, he realized that his problems, while significant to him, were not as monumental as they had seemed before. Before leaving, Peter thanked Joseph for his wisdom and for sharing his story. He knew that this chance encounter had touched his heart and shifted his perspective. As he walked home that evening, Peter felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. The events of that day, the conversation with Joseph, replayed in his mind. He thought about Joseph's dog and the profound meaning behind its story. From that day forward, Peter began to see his problems in a new light. He realized that many of his worries were unnecessary, a product of his own mind. He started taking small steps to address his issues, seeking professional help for his emotional struggles, and exploring new opportunities in his career. Slowly but surely, he rebuilt his life, finding joy in the simple moments and cherishing the people around him. He never forgot the valuable lesson he learned from a stranger in a coffee shop, a lesson that had the power to change his life forever. And that, my friends, is the power of a simple story. Sometimes, the smallest encounters leave the deepest impact. If this video touched your heart, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories, and share this with someone who might need this reminder today. You never know how far one story can travel.